After many years of the Blink Dagger burst damage initiation build, we have finally evolved into a new mainstream meta playstyle, the Battlefury Ursa build. Welcome everyone, I'm Navitz, representing my esports team, the Sploush Troupe, and this video is brought to you on behalf of Gamers Class. Learn from the pros and boost your skills with Gamers Class. You heard it right, Battlefury Ursa is the new build, and another surprise might be that you're not going to be buying phase boots. Let's talk about why. The way we're going to break down this guide is by talking first about items, then we're going to talk about our skills, then we're going to talk about our talents. Afterwards, what we'll do is watch a replay to get a feel for how the game gets played out. Then after the replay, we will talk about item timings and variations, and finally we will talk about drafting and heroes that counter Ursa and heroes that Ursa is good against. So let us begin with the item build. Well, for our starting items, we're going to get 2 sets of tangos, a healing salve, 2 sticks, and a quelling blade. The sticks are going to build into the magic wand, and then what we're going to do, depending on the lane, you are probably going to be in the safe lane, although Ursa has been played mid and off lane a lot. I've seen it happening, but it's mostly played in the safe lane. Is you'll get an orb of venom. This will help you chase down heroes, get an extra fury swipe or 2 off, and usually secure an extra couple kills. The very first item you're going to get is boots of speed. Now, a really good thing about Ursa is that his damage is based off of how many times he hits you with fury swipes, so you're not going to need to buy the Wraith bands as most typical agility based carries would need to buy. Instead, what you're going to do is you're going to buy power tread, and this is very different from the way that Ursa used to be played. You used to buy phase boots because you would want to close distance, get lots of kills, push and play early. Well, the late game has changed a lot, and Ursa is adapting to some of our last patches, and we're going to talk about how these adaptations have happened and what has caused them a little bit more during the game. The magic wand is going to be your next item, and then you're just going to build straight into your Battlefury. Battlefury is your farming item, and what the other thing that it does is it gives you 3.75 mana regen. Your spells are very cheap. This is your mana regeneration, this is HP regeneration, this lets you farm very quickly, and it lets you wave clear very quickly. Afterwards, you're going to buy a Sanjin Yasha. Sanjin Yasha, you ask? Well, let's talk about it a little bit, because this item you do not want to skip over. It's not really optional. The thing that you need is the movement speed. You get 10% increase in movement speed from Sanjin Yasha. You also get a 20% status resistance. Now, I think in this meta, what's happening is that a lot of heroes or a lot of carries that don't require BKB are kind of emerging to be very powerful because of how status resistance works. So we're going to get 20 status resistance from Sanjin Yasha. It also gives us some agility, some damage, some attack speed, and it gives you lifesteal or self HP regen and lifesteal amplification, which is something that's rather new. Afterwards, after you get the Sanjin Yasha, now you have the movement speed to just chase people down in conjunction with Earthshock, because Earthshock also now has a 250 unit jump forward. So you can Earthshock, jump forward at people and just chase them down after you have the Sanjin Yasha. Even before that, you can do it. You can start doing it from the laning phase, actually. Then you're going to go ahead and build into an Abyssal Blade or a Satanic. You don't necessarily have to go the Abyssal Blade first. If you think this game is going to go later, if you think the game is going to go late, you want to go for the Satanic, because it basically keeps you alive all the time. It gives you an additional 30% status resist. So you'll have 20 from the Sanjin Yasha, 30 from the Satanic. Enrage gives you a 50% status resistance. This essentially makes all of the stuns and disables and things like that used on you last for a fraction of the amount of time that it normally would. And then if you activate your Satanic while you're raged, you will probably regenerate your health to full with 1 overpower spell usage. Then you're gonna go ahead. So it's a toss-up between the Skull Basher and the Satanic as third item. Think of it this way: if you are thinking of ending the game or thinking of getting kills and being very aggressive, go for the Abyssal Blade. If you are trying to stay alive and continue to farm to go a little bit later, go for the Satanic. Or if you just don't want to die, go for the Satanic. Now, the next item after that, depending on how much CC the enemy team has, crowd control, I would either go for a BKB or this final item, the Nullifier. Nullifier now is not included in everybody's list, but it is really strong. And the reason you want to go for Nullifier is because Ursa does huge amounts of burst damage really fast, causing people to buy Ghost Scepters against him. Nullifier purges off Ghost Scepter, and people also buy Yule Scepters a lot, and Nullifier is good against Yule Scepters. In addition to being really good against those two items, it slows people as well, so you can chase down and slow people. It's kind of like a 5-second Diffusal Blade, sort of, but it slows people a lot, and it gives 80 damage, 8 armor, and 6 HP regen per second. So Nullifier, very, very good item. Now BKB, like I was saying, it can be pushed off quite a bit later with Ursa, and you still farm it at a fast speed because of how fast you farm with your Battle Fury. However, you don't necessarily need to get it even as your 4th item. You can usually get 4 items and then maybe a BKB, or even 6 items and swap in a BKB for your boots or something. I don't know, but the BKB isn't necessary in every single game, although there are a lot of games that you will need it. Spells and abilities, this is where things get different again. So Ursa used to always get points in overpower early. Now he is built differently, especially since the Earth Shock changes. So you're going to get 1 point in Fury Swipes at level 1, because what this allows you to do is harass an enemy hero out of lane, especially if that enemy hero is a melee hero. So Ursa is great against enemy melee offlaners. You don't want to, it kind of really sucks to be a melee hero in a lane against Ursa because of how often he can hit you with Fury Swipes. So you're gonna get 1 point in that, and then you're gonna max out Earth Shock as fast as you can. The reason for this is because it is super cheap in mana, and it lets you close distance and get kills. It moves you 250 units forward. On top of that, Ursa has gotten movement speed buffs frequently, or over the last years of patches. I don't know exactly like which patch he's gotten movement speed buffs, but he's gotten a lot of movement speed buffs. So you take your Earth Shock, then you're going to take Fury Swipes, you're going to get your Enrage at level 6. Enrage doesn't even cost mana, it's just got a cooldown, so you can use this pretty frequently. You're going to then finish off Fury Swipes and then start going for Overpower. Now at level 10, this really depends on how long you think you're going to be fighting. We'll talk about talents in a second. Actually, we'll talk about talents now, because then you're going to finish off Overpower, and then we'll talk about what talents you're going to get. So talents, the 20-second Fury Swipe reset time, the plus 20-second Fury Swipe reset time, not always necessary, because Ursa's usually killing people. They're not coming in and out of a battle with Ursa. He's either going to burst them down, or they're going to find a way to kill Ursa if Ursa doesn't have Enrage on cooldown, or if they can control him for long enough. So usually you'll take the 175 health. The other reason for that is because if you can survive to like even 50 health or like 100 health and then hit Enrage, usually you can lifesteal your way back up. If your team has a Vlad's, or if you're building a Satanic, you can lifesteal your full HP back. Level 15, you don't need the mana regen because you have the Battle Fury and your spells are so cheap. So you're going to go ahead and get the 12 agility. Now level 20, the plus 12 Fury Swipes damage and the plus 1.2 second Enrage duration is really a toss-up depending on how the game's going and what you think is happening. If you feel like your Enrage is where you're doing the majority of your damage, or you're stopping a huge percentage of damage during your Enrage, go for the plus 1.2 second Enrage cooldown. If you feel like you really are lacking damage or need more damage, go for the plus 12 Fury Swipes damage. And at level 25, the plus 3 overpower attacks, I think it's kind of a no-brainer on this one, although 480 AoE Earth Shock damage is a lot. The plus 3 overpower attacks, that just is like an extra chance to bash. You already do so much damage. It's more than whatever this 480 damage is in total if you manage to get it off. I think almost 100% of the time you go for the plus 3 overpower attacks. Jumping into the game. Okay, here is our Ursa, and this is actually a game that Mason just played about 8 minutes before I started recording the content for this. So it's a fresh game. We're gonna see the latest and greatest Ursa ideas coming out of our boy Mason here. So first off, we've got Fury Swipes at level 1, and we have the same starting items that were in the build list. We've got the 2 sets of tangos, healing salves, iron branches, and the quelling blade. Now, something interesting you're about to see here is, or in this game is, yeah, that is a mid techies. And honestly, mid techies, if this strategy blows up soon, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because I lost a game against a mid techies who was so good, and I felt I had no chance. It was insane. Maybe it's new meta, maybe not, who knows. Maybe I'll make a video about that soon. But let's talk about this game. And well, that is this game, but let's talk about this Ursa and the way he has to lane this, or the way he has to play this lane. So one interesting thing that you have to think about is whether you are against melee heroes or ranged heroes. And in this game, he is against 2 ranged heroes in lane. Now, Troll technically can become melee, but he is ranged. In addition to that, he's got to worry about summons. He's taking a lot of damage here. So what does that mean for our Ursa? It means that he's probably not going to be able to get easy kills. Like, he's not just going to be able to run down people. They're going to be able to harass him quite a bit, and it's going to cost him a lot in regeneration. It's also going to slow down the rate that he's going to be able to farm at early. So he's not going to be able to get as many last hits as he normally would in a lane. Normally, he can Fury Swipe people and force them to back up, but in this game, he's not going to be able to do that. So the way he's gonna play this is to continuously use creep aggro to bring his creeps back towards him as far as he can. He'll try to get the last hit on these treants, and then anytime he can, he'll use Earth Shock to get last hits. Earth Shock only costs 85 mana, and if you can use Earth Shock to jump forward and get something like a ranged last hit, you see he does it right there. Absolutely worth doing. It is worth the mana 100 out of 100 times. Go ahead and do it. He'll Earth Shock every time, especially every time a ranged last hit's available, and sometimes he'll do it for melee last hits. Now, he did come over here. We did see a pull happen, so I'm going to go ahead and go on free camera. We will switch to fog for the dire side only. Whoops, the radiant side only. And this way we can see exactly what Ursa sees on the mini map. Now, a pull did happen. He brought the wave back over here. What he's trying to do is bring lane equilibrium back closer to this area. Now, obviously the Troll and the Nature's Prophet want the lane equilibrium here. If the lane equilibrium is here for the Troll and the Nature's Prophet, it means that they have all of this space from here all the way down to the tower to run these guys down on, which makes it more dangerous for the Ursa to play here. And now Ursa's actually trying to close distance on the Nature's Prophet. They get the Maledict off, and they also had already used Paralyzing Cask, so our Nature's Prophet knows the cooldowns. He teleported right out of lane, and unfortunately they're not able to get the kill. However, he is still able to get some decent last hits. Now, he's still using creep aggro to pull these creeps back towards him whenever he can. And he actually is doing pretty okay in terms of last hits, 14 already. No denies though, this Troll is getting an equal amount of farm. Now, remember when I said in the intro to this, when I was talking about items, I was saying one good thing about Ursa is, oh, he's going down on this guy right here, especially with Witch Doctor. Look how strong he is. He is taking Fury Swipes. Oh, he's taking hits from Fury Swipes. He has Maledict on him, and he actually just dives that tower. He dove that tower, and he sent himself additional regen. That's important to note, that he wouldn't have been able to do that if he didn't send himself this healing salve. That healing salve is the reason he was able to play so aggressive there. So preemptively sending yourself additional regeneration, very, very important, guys. Keep that in mind if you're in a lane where you know that you're running out of regen, or if you know you have regen coming. It's an opportunity for you to be aggressive the way that Mason person just was right there. That was a really nice play. So what I was saying is the Wraith Band right here on the Troll Warlord is something that he has to pick up. Almost all agility based carries usually have to pick up 2 Wraith Bands. So you'll see it usually 1 to 2 Wraith Bands. So you'll see it on Troll Warlord this game. He's going to pick up the 2 Wraith Bands, and he's going to go for a similar build to Ursa. He's going to try to outfarm the Ursa, because Troll is another hero that is basically picked in a lot of situations where Ursa is picked. You'll see Troll get picked against the Underlords, not the Underlords. Monkey King and Ursa are picked in a lot of the same situations, but Troll is the same type of hero as Ursa in terms of high amounts of DPS physical damage. Sorry, I didn't mean to say Troll and Ursa are picked in a lot of the same situations. I was thinking about Monkey King, but Troll and Ursa still both are high damage physical, high DPS physical damage heroes who both have a spell that's kind of similar. The Fervor and the Fury Swipes work in a similar way. He does more damage every time he gets a Fury Swipe stack off. He does more attack speed every time he gets a Fervor stack off. So that's why those two are similar. But still, the Ursa, so the Troll is gonna go for a similar build to the Ursa, but Ursa is gonna be able to get his timings faster because he doesn't need these double Wraith Bands. He's just so strong right now, and he also has more movement speed than the Troll. Troll moving at 290, Ursa at 355 right now. Without the boots give him 45, so without the boots, he moves at 310. 310 base movement speed. That's very, very fast. Troll's base movement speed is significantly lower. He's at 300 right now. 300 right now, and with Ursa getting the earlier boots, it means that he has a laning advantage a lot of the time against heroes who want to buy items before boots. So if you're like a hero who needs a soul ring first, and Ursa has boots on you and you got a soul ring, it's like, okay, great, you get some mana, but Ursa's just gonna run you down. It doesn't really matter some of the time, or a lot of the time. Now Ursa's just trying to farm as much as possible still. You can see that his next item that he's going to buy is the Power Tread. So Power Treads plus 45 movement speed, doesn't change much. The attack speed and the attribute bonus. He did just get ganked by Storm Spirit, which was a really nice Storm Spirit gank. So we're not gonna dwell too much upon that. He gets killed. He is actually 1-1-1 right now, so he's gonna just TP back to lane. I sped it up a little bit just to get us back to this point. He also lost his courier. Since he has Power Treads, it means also he's gonna be able to get a kill on this Troll Warlord here, it seems. One more hit. Overpower. Yep. Overpower also has very short cooldown, 9,876 seconds. It's super good. But watch what he does. He uses Overpower as a farming mechanic every time. Not every time, but a lot of the times that he wants to farm something, he'll go ahead and start clearing a creep wave or start clearing a creep camp with Overpower. That's because he has Power Treads and he can tread swap. Now with tread swapping, this video is not about tread swapping, but if you don't know what tread swapping does, you better ask somebody, because it's really good in terms of saving you mana. You should always be tread swapping to intelligence before you use your mana, and then swap back to agility to fight, or agility to farm. And then if you are low on health, you want to swap to strength to get additional HP. And that's just kind of how that goes. Now Ursa has cleared the creep wave. Our boy Baki is keeping the lane equilibrium right here in front of his tower. So Ursa is going to go and try to farm the rest of these creeps soon. He jumps forward with the Overpower. This creep is not low. Oh, it is low enough to be denied. I bet you he regrets that a little bit. I thought that range creep wasn't low enough to be denied. But anyway, he's bringing the creep wave back. There was a pull that just happened from the Nature's Prophet. So since Nature's Prophet pulled, he's able to bring creep equilibrium all the way back. Now he's got 2 creep waves coming out. And what Ursa wants to do at this point is farm this camp, and farm this wave as often as he can. He doesn't want to just stay in the lane anymore and focus on denying. He wants to exponentially increase his farm if he can, or maybe not exponentially, but he wants to increase his farm if he can. So being able to farm this camp, is very, very important. And He's just laning against the troll for now, and we're going to go back to his perspective, and I'm going to speed things up to 1.5 times speed, because this is the point where the laning phase is almost done. They're not going to really mess with him anymore. You'll notice that he bought himself. Let's take a look at the item he just bought himself. I know it's coming on his courier, I believe. Where is Ursa's courier? Oh, he did not buy himself another item yet, but he has 1,000 gold. Okay, he didn't buy himself an item, but he has 1,000 gold. And our troll warlord has 2 wraith bands, and he has 500 gold or 600 gold. So Ursa, while he has about 1,000 more gold than the troll warlord, and that is because of these double wraith bands. These double wraith bands are a cost sink for the troll, while Ursa doesn't need to sink his resources into those because of the fury swipe mechanic. And troll does need to sink his into that because he would be just too weak without it. Ursa also has enrage now, which doesn't cost any mana and has a very, very short cooldown. It gives you huge amounts of status resist and damage reduction. So don't be afraid to use enrage very, very often and very, very frequently. It's just such a good spell. I see people wait too long to use enrage very frequently, so we don't want to be waiting too long on our enrage. And he's gonna just continue farming, so he's at 2,000 gold, and I'll keep kind of checking back on troll. I'll give troll a quick click. He's at 1,000 gold, and really the difference is right here, 1,000 gold in the wraith bands. Ursa is just sitting at a perseverance on the way to him plus 400 gold, so he's going to hit his battle fury timing a lot faster than the troll. Now notice that he's not coming to fight mid yet. Ursa doesn't want to take fights too frequently. Check out what he did right there. That wasn't a mistake. That wasn't a mistake. He soaked up a couple tower hits with his enrage right there. He used his enrage, soaked up a couple tower hits to keep his catapult alive just a little bit longer, and that allowed a couple extra shots off on the tower. If somebody didn't rotate to this lane, it would have meant that Ursa was going to be able to take this tower, then he was going to be able to push the lane forward a little bit more, and it would give him more map control, so then he could come farm here, and this ancient camp a lot more safely, and then come meet the wave back here as he's doing right now. But he would be able to do it a lot more safely and have more map control. Unfortunately, the Death Prophet did teleport in, ruining his plans, but he's still good. Sitting on the perseverance, he's got 4.3 mana regen per second with the power treads, and the tread swapping, he's basically going to use Earth Shock to initiate every farming opportunity. He doesn't have any points in overpower. I've seen people take points in overpower sometimes, and this is on Ursa's perspective. So while he's farming, notice that he's looking at the fight middle. This is something that a lot of players don't do. They AFK farm and they're clearing a creep wave while not clicking on anything, but they don't look at the fights that are happening. Even if you're just last hitting, it's still worth between last hits. This is something that Arteezy does. I see him do it specifically when I watch Arteezy streams, is between last hits. Almost every single time he clicks a different part of the map. So he'll last hit, then he'll click over and look at somebody else. He'll either click their items or he'll click on a position of the map. He'll just try to get more information. Now Ursa enrages early and just starts attacking. Notice that he enraged in case somebody initiated on him right there, and also because he has a short cooldown on it. He knows he has the ability to chase down Death Prophet right there. If Death Prophet spirit siphons him, he wants the spirit siphon to end a lot earlier than it normally would, so he just enrages. Now he's about, let's say, 600 gold away from his battle fury. The troll is farming very fast as well, and troll is like way farther away from his battle fury than the Ursa is, and they've both just been basically free farming this whole game. Let's see how much troll has in terms. Oh, troll's died twice actually. I didn't realize that, but still. Ursa's a quiet 3-0. He's a very quiet 3-0, and he's basically just playing this bottom half of the map as safely as he can. Now the fight mid is happening right now. He's keeping an eye on it, and he's trying to decide if he wants to go to the fight. If it looks like there's an opportunity for him to turn the tides of the battle, he'll probably come, but if there's not, he's gonna continue farming safely. Now he has his Battle Fury already completed. It's 14 minutes 41 seconds. A 15-minute Battle Fury is nice, and he sees that there's an opportunity to do something mid, comes mid, and he's gonna clear some stuff out here. The fight is essentially over, but he's gonna have his Battle Fury. He has 2 points in overpower now, and now he's farming and he wants to be aggressive on the enemy side of the map, especially with his Battle Fury. At this point, if you're ahead the way that he is, or that his team is, you want to be aggressive on this side. Oh, he almost gets the storm kill. Storm dropped his item. He does get the storm kill, enrages so that the Aether Remnant won't last very long, and backs out. So again, notice that it's a preemptive enrage, not waiting a long time to enrage, using it pretty preemptively, and then he's just going back to farming right now. They're also controlling a huge portion of the map. They basically have all of this. If you look at the mini map from here up to where pink is, controlling almost 2/3 of the map at this point. Early, it's hard to keep control of a large portion of the map for a long time, but with a couple of towers taken, or after they take a couple of towers, it'll make it a lot easier for his team to isolate parts of the map and get better vision against this dire squad. Now he's pushing the bottom tower. He sees where the players are mid. If we're looking at the mini map, he sees the Storm Spirit, the Void Spirit, the Nature's Prophet. He knows that everyone is in mid right now. He knows all the pressure is being put there, and this frees him the opportunity to take the bottom tower. Now he started building the Blade of Alacrity that will build into the Sange and Yasha, and the fight that starts breaking out, he decides he wants to go towards it. If he doesn't end up fighting this fight, which it looks like he won't, he actually can just farm the Ancient Camp. Yeah, perfect. So he farms the Ancient Camp because the fight has gone poorly for him, and he's just going to get out of it. Look at that. He uses Overpower right there. Overpower. I've been calling it Overpower a lot, haven't I? He uses Earth Shock right there to jump over this little cliff. It saves him just a little bit of time, but it's definitely something that you need to do when you're trying to farm as fast as you can. Sometimes that's worth doing. Back to the creep camps he goes. He keeps farming his face off, and this is essentially just farm mode Ursa. Think of him like an anti-mage with only a 250 unit blink instead of the bigger blink that anti-mage has. But still, he's gonna jump forward, use the Earth Shock, and just continue pushing, and just continue farming. Going to check to see if he can find a wave mid. No wave mid. He actually sees an opportunity top, and here is the Death Prophet. Death Prophet, you can die. Let's see if he's fast enough to kill the Death Prophet, and he is. That teleportation was not fast enough. Fury Swipes is maxed out. Bonus of 400 attack speed for 6 swipes. He gets the kill pretty easily right there. So Death Prophet is very, very burstable. And now he's still a quiet 5-1. It's not like he's been dominating this game. It's not like he's been running at people. He's just been farming and picking up a kill here and there. With the Yasha and with the dead Death Prophet, they now have very good map control. Looking at where their wards are, we'll take a quick look here. They have vision of this ramp. They know that if the enemy team comes, they'll see them well ahead of time, and they're just going to be able to get Roshan easily. The Void Spirit is a little bit of a threat of jumping in, but now he's silenced by the techies, and there is the Aegis. That is a very, very smart Aegis take and play by the Dire squad, and Ursa will go back to farming, but he's not going back and retreating into his jungle. He's moving forward with his team and farming the areas of the map that belong to the enemy. So in addition to giving himself farm, he denies farm from the enemy by farming their areas of the map. But very, very important to do. Okay, Ursa, where are you going to play next? He's almost completed with his Battle Fury. We're on the free camera perspective. We'll switch back to player perspective and see where he decides to go. He's going to stick around his team for a little while, and instead of going to the mid lane, because some people would TP mid or bottom right now, he's just going to stay here. He's going to be able to also pick up a creep wave mid in a second anyways, so TPing mid would be a waste of a teleportation scroll. If you don't have to, don't waste your TP scrolls. That's pretty obvious, but I guess sometimes obvious things need to be said. Now they're trying to get a kill on the Troll Warlord, and we'll see what items Troll has at this point. So Troll is sitting at the Battlefury and now has a Yasha completed, whereas Ursa has a full Sanjin Yasha plus 660 gold, and he is much more of a threat. Like, Troll is not a threat at all with a Battlefury. Even with a Battlefury and a Sanjin Yasha, Troll isn't nearly as much of a threat as Ursa. I think Ursa is a lot more, I would say, menacing. Another similarity between Troll and Ursa actually is kind of how their ultimates work. You know, they both kind of get enraged. You know, I never thought about that. The fact that these two heroes are so similar in terms of the passive and the ultimate. I guess they are more similar than I really gave them credit for in the past. But look at Ursa. Every time he engages, he earth shocks forward. Now they're going on him. He has the Aegis of Immortality. Whoops, I clicked on the wrong hero. I'm going to slow this down a bit so we can watch the fight. Uses Enrage, has the Aegis, and now he's going to back up. If the Troll comes forward, he will probably go on him if he can. The Storm comes forward, he'll go on him if he can. Jumps forward, uses his Earth Overpower, gets the kill, overpowers again, tries to take down the Death Prophet, and even if he dies here, guess what? He just burned an Aegis, no big deal. It's not going to be the first time he takes Rosh on. He's an Ursa, he can take Rosh easy. So Storm buys back. Ursa has Enrage in a few seconds, but he might be able to get one more kill. Jumps forward, the Storm is coming to clean up, and Ursa is just taking the weak targets where he can. Every time somebody gets away from him, he jumps forward. The Troll or the Storm is trying to get away. Storm has used that buyback, so not much for Storm to be able to do at this point. And Ursa is going to TP bottom, continue his farming route. And look at the third item that Ursa is going to buy. He's actually not giving it any indication. In this game, I think my intuition would have been to buy a Skull Basher to kill the Storm more often. Ursa's intuition was buy a Satanic, because if I can't die, then they can't win the game. And a lot of the times that's true for your cores. Look at him just run at the Storm. A lot of times that's true for your cores. If they can't die, then you obviously win the game. But they usually can't pump out enough damage. Ursa's pumping out a lot of damage. He also has a DD Ruin right now. You see how fast he farms with the DD. Our Troll is running away. He does have his Sanjin Yasha, his Battle Fury, but Ursa, it's picked up the Morbid Mask, has another 2,000 gold. So they're similar in the items they have, but Ursa has the gold advantage. He'll be able to get his next item sooner. So we'll speed up a little bit. He's going to push this bottom wave pretty far, and then he's probably going to pick up an item at this side shop because he's going to buy the Satanic next, the Satanic to keep him alive. I didn't mention this about overpower yet, and I should mention it. You have to you want to use overpower before a fight. Overpower has a duration of 20 seconds, so you have 20 seconds to use all these charges, and then a respawn or a cooldown time of only 9 seconds at level 4, which means after 9 seconds you can jump in with your Earth Shock. So you Earth Shock forward, you hit your 6 attacks with your bonus 400 movement speed, and then you overpower again. And then you get another 6 attacks. So you basically get 12 attacks in a very short period of time, as long as you've preemptively used overpower before a fight starts. So that's a very important mechanic on Ursa. Be aware of it. Bottom lane here, we're seeing just Ursa's farming patterns basically, and I'll speed this up so we don't have to watch any of our hero hunt mini game. All right, good. And Ursa's just farming. He's gonna take the shrine. We're gonna speed it up a little bit. He's got the Satanic as his third item, and his fourth item is going to be the Skull Basher into Abyssal. Now look, let's see what Troll has to do. And Troll's buying his third item. His third item, he's gonna have to get rid of one of these Wraith Bands and then buy a BKB, because he can't fight without the BKB against this team, whereas Ursa, with all of his status resistance, can, and also because he was able to farm faster and get the Satanic early. Now he's going to try to take the mid tower, which he'll probably be able to do. A fight is breaking out, jumps forward, gets the kill on Void Spirit, and is just going to go back to the mid tower like he planned initially. And now they're a pretty formidable threat. Let's see if they decide to go high ground. It looks like they are going to go high ground because Void Spirit's not alive. They're going to force the enemy to come back. Storm is going to try to clear the wave, and with a Storm clearing the wave, it's hard to go high ground. So what should they do now? They should go to Roshan if Roshan's available. I can't tell if he is. Somebody just sent a courier into the Rosh pit to check. Let's see who did that. Some smart soul sent the courier in. So they're going to be waiting for the courier respawn, which is in 10 seconds. And they know that their next timing, the way that they play this map is they can't go high ground. They can't go high ground. They wait for Rosh. When Rosh is available, they take Roshan, they get the cheese, they get the Aegis, and then they're able to take a huge team fight, because even if the team fight might be at a slight disadvantage, they have the huge advantage of having the Aegis and cheese on them. And Ursa can also take Roshan very, very fast, as we've seen multiple times. Fury swipes allows him to do that. The talents that he's taken now, we're at level 20. He's taken the 20-second Fury swipe reset time, which is a little bit interesting. I thought he would have gone for the 175 health. He's taken the 12 agility and the 1.2-second enrage duration. I like the enrage duration. I'm not sure if I love the 20-second Fury swipe reset time, because he's basically been killing everybody pretty quickly. Like, nobody's been able to get away from Ursa at all this game. And the 12 agility, he doesn't need the mana regen. He just has so much from his Battle Fury and from being able to tread swap. It's like a non-issue. He's always at like half mana, but whatever. He's just an Ursa. All his spells cost 85 mana and 70 mana. They're cheap spells. The rest of it is a passive and a free ultimate. So free mana ultimate, but it does have a duration. Now our next Roshan is up. So Ursa is going to go ahead and take that by himself. We speed that up a little bit. No need to watch all of that happen. And the Skull Basher is also here. Techies has died somewhere on the map. That is terrible news. Their mid Techies is down, so oh well. Let's see if they're able to kill the Death Prophet. Death Prophet trying to stay alive as long as she can. Notice that he used Enrage right there because he saw the Aether Remnant coming out. So to stop the Aether Remnant from lasting a long time, he Enraged. And it's already almost off of cooldown. It lasts for 6.2 seconds, and it has a 30-second cooldown, meaning that he can be enraged like every 24 seconds. Like every 24 seconds he can do an enrage, which is pretty cool. Now he's also picked up the Titan Sliver, which it gives him another 16% status resistance. You'll notice that whatever crowd control or lockdown they try to do on this Ursa, it will not work. He enrages again. That Aether Remnant lasts for such a smidgen of time. It's supposed to last for 1.8 seconds. It felt like it barely even went off. And you'll also feel this when you play Ursa. If you haven't tried this before, it feels a little bit silly, like how easily you can just run at people. It really feels a little bit silly. They're trying to get a kill bottom. Ursa continuing his farm to try to finish off the Abyssal Blade. So he's moving around the map. He hasn't had to sell his Wraith Bands the way that the Troll has. And Troll is basically going for the next item is going to be a... Has Troll changed his mind? His next item is going to be a Skull Basher into an Abyssal, a Skull Basher into a Satanic himself. Ursa keeping control of the enemy jungle. Because they are ahead, he's easily able to control this enemy jungle. And he finds some spider legs on the ground, and spider legs are actually better than extra status resistance because they give you movement speed, and Ursa's super good when he gets the close distance on people. So that's what he'll do. He'll spider leg over stuff. He'll just farm as fast as he can. They'll continue to take the towers. They'll continue to control the map. He has Aegis. He has cheese. We're gonna see them probably go high ground soon. Unfortunately, Nature's Prophet is cutting their creep waves down here, so they are making it much harder to go high ground. And the fact that Storm can clear creep waves very quickly with his zip is another small issue for them. But that's just how it be sometime. So Ursa's coming bottom. He's not showing right now, so this is interesting. You need to notice that he's not showing. He's waiting for a hero to show up in lane. No hero shows up, so he's gonna go clear a creep wave that he knows is coming at the 30-second mark. So at the 30-second mark, the next creep wave is gonna come, and he's gonna take it bottom. Is fast enough to take the ancients as well. Then he goes back for that 30-second creep wave at 31:30. Clears this wave in like a couple of hits. It's just crazy how fast it goes down. They're trying to keep this map split up, but they do catch the Nature's Prophet. So now the Nature's Prophet's down. They might be able to go high ground very soon. The bottom wave's pushing in very hard. They've got quite a few creeps coming, and Ursa just gets gone on. He has so much status resistance though. We'll keep it at normal speed so we get a feel for this. This Yule Scepter lasts like no time. It's supposed to be 2.5 seconds. He gets out of here. He loses the Aegis actually, which is a little rough. Swaps out the Spider Legs, swaps in the Titan Silver, and has the cheese available. They're still going to go high ground even though he lost the Aegis because there's no Nature's Prophet. Very, very short Aether Remnant time. It does force them to fortify, and now they can back up a little bit. They're not going to overstay their welcome because they know that Witch Doctor is spawning again. And they might be in a situation where they have to wait for another Roshan soon. We'll see. Okay, Ursa is getting engaged on. Let's see if he's strong enough to live through this. He enrages himself. He uses his cheese. He's going to get the kill on the Nature's Prophet, it seems. Now he's going to take his rage out on the Death Prophet. Backs up a little bit. Death Prophet has the Ghost Scepter, as you can see. Whoops. Kind of shouldn't have. Let's go back 10. Death Prophet has the Ghost Scepter, so Ursa's unable to hit her. Storm comes in. He has used his Satanic, so he's basically at full health. Goes godlike, kills the Death Prophet, kills the Natures, and his Witch Doctor will be respawning soon. There's a couple illusions here. He'll deal with those. And we'll speed it up a little bit. Why don't we do that? So he's just running at people, clearing creep waves. Now he's gonna go creep waves. Now he's gonna go mid. Storm just zips through and completely cancels the creep wave. Look at him. Look at him playing very aggressive. He even out here he runs at the Void Spirit, and Void Spirit knows he's got a 600 range blink with a stun, so he has to be very, very careful. He does use his Abyssal Blade. He does use Rage. And he's going to back out with the plus 1.2 second in Rage time. He also has plus 3 overpower attacks. And now he's actually super low on mana and pretty low on health, so he does teleport back to base. They will be looking to get next Roshan again when they can. A fight seems to be breaking out mid. I don't know if his team's going to be able to survive it. Void Spirit's missing, but he's decided to go for the Nullifier. And this is exactly kind of what I was talking about. He can go for Nullifier next, and then he can get a BKB or I don't know. Yeah, I guess BKB, he can finish it off with that, but he has so much status resistance. It doesn't even matter that much. He's such a powerful hero, and the Nullifier is going to give him so much additional damage. He's 10-1. An absolute wrecking force right now. He is coming into the battle, ignores that creep camp, tries to catch up over here, has the Abyssal Blade, so he can jump forward and Abyssal, and he will be able to quickly kill. There he does. You just saw the combo right there. He Earth Shocks forward and then Abyssals to close distance. We get a couple of buybacks out right there. Nature's Prophet buys back. He's trying to clear the creep waves. Our Timber's trying to close distance on him. Ursa is using his Battle Fury to clear stuff himself. Now he's sending his courier to the enemy side shop. You can see because he almost has enough for the Sacred Relic. Now he does have enough for the Sacred Relic. Gets a bash. Is trying to take down the DP. is taking like absolutely no damage in this Enrage. A lot of damage actually does go out there, but what did he use? Did he use a cheese? What happened? Oh, I think I clicked on the wrong unit. Okay, yeah, it was the troll that I clicked on. Troll takes a lot of damage. Has the maledict on him, and it looks like troll is gonna die. So troll unable to be effective. 90 seconds dead. Storm is dead, and it looks like this lane of Rex will go down. So Ursa will do his best to take down the lane of Rex. Still being aggressive here. Does have his nullifier now, so he has the ability to purge off the Ghost Scepter, purge off Yule Scepters. Enrage is available. And they're going to consider going bottom as well. I thought they were only going to take mid wave because Storm is going to be up, but it looks like they're going to decide to go bottom as well. Almost gets the kill on Death Prophet. Slowly taking down the Nature's Prophet. And look how short that duration is. All of these durations are so short, and now one of his teammates, the Timber Saw, most likely has a Lotus Orb to put on him as well. You just can't kill this bear. I don't know what you're gonna do. He's ignoring heroes. He's attacking towers, ignoring heroes. He has an Abyssal Blade up in 5 seconds. Does use his Battle Fury to try to cut these trees, but this is so annoying. By the way, Nature's Prophet players, you can use your Sprout to put it over buildings and people can't hit those buildings. It works on the throne too. And they managed to get 2 lanes of Rex. So 2 lanes of Rex go down, but that's probably as far as they're going to push it because the troll is back up soon. Storm is zipping things in and out. If Storm gets caught for a second, he's in a lot of trouble. And this is the Agnum's Scepter Roshan. So you know what that means? That means that they're going to put the Agnum Scepter on the Ursa, and it means that Ursa's Enrage cooldown is going to drop to 18 seconds. So he's going to have basically 1/3 of the time he can be enraged. How does that feel? That must feel very good, being enraged 1/3 of the time. And he's got the cheese to Ember. He's got the Aegis himself. He has Titan Sliver. Looking good. And we're going to watch him go ahead and push out more waves. The next fight is probably going to be the fight that ends the game. The enemy team only has 1 lane of Rax left. And they know that they probably will never be able to kill this Ursa again with how much status resist he has at this point and how much damage he's doing. Plus 211 damage, plus overpower attacks. He gets 9 attacks right now with his bonus plus 3 talent at level 25. So he gets 9 super fast attacks and really good chances to bash. They get mega creeps. Actually, it looks like the enemy team has probably given up here. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be the finale for the game. So we'll watch it end out here, and Ursa is victorious. That was a very cool game to watch. Let's talk about item timings next and some item variations. So we're going to take a look at some existing games on Dota Buff to get ourselves some ideas. So first off, you can see here that the builds are all going to be probably Battle Fury builds. People have been questioning why Ursas are buying Battle Furies even in my Immortal games, and I can't believe it. The timing that you want to hit on your Battle Fury is looking like approximately 15-ish minutes based on most of the games. You want to get early treads. This guy does actually go for the Wraith Band as well. Early treads, Battle Fury, Sanjin Yasha afterwards. He goes Satanic, Abyssal, into Desolator. Now he has a 23-2 game, so he's pretty much stomping. We'll take a look at the next game. This guy goes for Battle Fury into Sanjin Yasha, gets the Sanjin Yasha around 22 minutes, and then BKB. So he probably had more crowd control to deal with. He gets himself the BKB. Our next game we have the MKB being picked up as a 3rd item. So again, approximately 15 to 16 minute Battle Fury, 21-ish minute Sanjin Yasha goes for the MKB next. And if we see the heroes that he's up against, it looks like, I'm not sure why he bought the MKB. Maybe somebody bought a Radiance and MKB was needed. Let's see this one. He does have an Orb of Venom to start, fast boots, 17-minute Battle Fury. A little bit later, 22-minute Sanjin Yasha, Satanic, Abyssal. So that's similar to the game that we just watched. This guy goes for Phase Boots still, which is, I mean, you can still do stuff like that. It works. Phase Boots, early Battlefury goes to the Sanjin Yasha, BKB, and then Abyssal. Does not have the Satanic in this game, but that's okay. And then we see again another one, more of the same basically, with a couple MKBs sprinkled in here. I don't know exactly when people are sprinkling in MKBs. You definitely need it versus evasion, but it looks like some of these guys are buying it even though there's not a ton of evasion for him to deal with. So that's something to consider. MKBs have been high DPS items lately, and all of these builds are essentially the same, as you can see. I thought there was going to be more variation, but there's not. So that's what we'll go with, and we've seen quite a bit of the same. That is the new way to build Ursa. So quick conversation about heroes Ursa is good and bad against. We'll start with some heroes that he's bad against, although he's not really bad against a lot. As you've seen that game, the status resistance is so high you can barely keep him stunned for any duration before he enrages and just runs your team down. But we will talk about a couple of things. So I think Beastmaster is actually decent against Ursa because he does have a BKB piercing stun. He does have the boars to slow him, and he can lane against the Ursa. It's not the worst matchup. I play a lot of Beastmaster and I don't feel bad playing against Ursa. Venomancer can be good against Ursa because he has so much slow. Wind Ranger with the Shackle and sometimes buying the Orchid, depending on the lane, the Blink Shackle or the Orchid, to try to burst down the Ursa. I don't think Naga Siren's very good against Ursa anymore because Ursa is building the Battlefury. Pangolier is pretty good because Pangolier has Lucky Shot, and Lucky Shot disarms you. You don't want to be disarmed. In addition to getting disarmed, you also get hit with his Rolling Thunder a lot. That can be very, very annoying. Rikimaru can be annoying because you don't want to fight in that cloud, and you don't really have an easy way to get out. You don't want to buy a Force Staff. Lycan can kind of run your team down, but it's not that great anymore, especially because of the fact that you're buying a Battlefury. And there's really not much else I want to talk about in specifically that's good against Ursa. He can be picked in a lot of games. Let's talk about what Ursa is good against. Now, Ursa is very good against tanky offlane heroes like Tide Hunters, Underlords, Centaur War Runners, Axes, all these guys, Legion Commander even, all these melee based tank strong strength based offlaners. Ursa is very good against. Ursa is also pretty good against Alchemist and Juggernaut. I'm looking at these two right here, but Alchemist because he can burst Alchemist down before he gets a lot of healing, and Juggernaut because he usually builds a Skull Basher and he can kill Juggernaut while he's using his Blade Fury. He's good against quite a few heroes at the moment. So if there's a hero that doesn't want to get burst down in a short period of time, Ursa's probably good against it because he can close distance easily now. He can also farm and out farm many heroes. Let's see. Yeah, all of these heroes are essentially, if you're a melee based offlaner or a strength based hero, you're gonna have a hard time against Ursa in the offlane, and then if you fall behind against Ursa and he gets a fast Battlefury, there's not going to be a lot that you can do to slow him down. Last thing to mention that I forgot is that Ursa is good against stuff that needs X amounts of hits to destroy. So if you think about things like Phoenix Egg and Keeper's Will-O-Wisp, Ursa is a good hero to counter those kind of things because he can quickly destroy the egg or kill the Will-O-Wisp. Thank you guys for checking out this guide. I have not played a ton of it myself, but I've just started and I've been having a very good time with offlane Ursa. If you are enjoying, let me know. My name is Navitz, representing my esports team, the Sploush Troupe, and this video has been brought to you on behalf of Gamers Class.